Hypocrisy. Behavior that contradicts what one claims to believe or feel. I didn't memorize that. I have my phone back there. Let's get it out again. Because I want to talk about the original Greek hupokrisis, acting of a theatrical part. I feel like a lot of my culture, just the culture I've been raised in, and I'm surrounded by and participate in, encourages and even rewards this acting of a part, this faux authenticity. And I really want to explore that in this video. So hopefully by now, because of the angle and the lighting and the fact that my the heater is running, hopefully the algorithm is kicked out. Herner's not even shown this to most of the people who aren't going to pay attention. And most of the people who are just here to see me will probably end up dropping off around a few minutes in. But I think that is what's going to make this all the more interesting. And that's why I'm really excited to make this. This is something this is a concept that I've been, there goes my phone. This is a concept I've been thinking about for a little while now. And I really want to tie it into my career and tie it into other careers on just content, like careers in content creation in general. And especially now that globally we're kind of moving towards more of an attention economy, I just find all of this fascinating. And I really think that attention economies inherently promote hypocrisy. So let's get into this. I watch a lot of media. Like, a lot of media. Once you kind of factor in things that I see on social media, YouTube, Netflix, Hulu, Paramount Plus, just a lot of visual things that I'm seeing all the time, this content that I'm consuming. And we're only just scratching the surface of what it means to be fed a false reality at all times. Then again, it's been this way for a long time. I was watching this YouTube video, and I kept thinking about the idea of what is acting? At what point does something become acting? At what point does something that's an act become real?
Commercial radio began in the 1920s. Broadcasters like NBC, ABC, and CBS operated more like YouTube and Facebook today. They didn't actually create any content. They were just a platform. The shows themselves were produced by advertisers, or in this case, tobacco companies. When broadcast television began in 1946, things worked in much the same way. Advertisers produced the programs and then paid to have them shown on the air. I Love Lucy was not a CBS show sponsored by Philip Morris. It was a Philip Morris show that happened to air on CBS. They dictated everything about the content, incling the story and how often their product was mentioned or featured.
This seems pretty obvious that they were being paid to say that. It seems pretty obvious that this was an advertisement. But at the same time, it was just content. And there were probably a lot of people who thought that the actors actually loved Philip Morris cigarettes. And maybe some of them did, honestly. You know, and maybe they didn't before, but after being paid to make the advertisement, then they did start loving Philip Morris cigarettes, and then they did believe what they were being paid to say. So at that point, is that acting? Was expressing their opinion a form of acting?
Why do black people love menthol so much?
They don't. Most menthol smokers to this day are white. That stereotype is a direct result of how cigarettes were marketed in the 70s and 80s. Because just like the suffragettes and women's lib, tobacco companies were quick to lend their money and support to the civil rights movement, seeing it as a way to break into another minority market. Tobacco became a major funder of the NAACP and several other black organizations.
Any kind of platform or business model that revolves around getting the most viewership is going to run into this at some point and going to have to deal with the implications of it.
Mr. Beast's creativity exists purely on the spectrum to which a robot says it's allowed to. When creating content on YouTube.gov, creators have a fine line to toe between creative expression and algorithmic optimization. If you believe in the truest form of pure art, you don't have to look at these analytics because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. However, if your sole goal is to be the best in the world at this specific platform, then your creativity is inherently stifled for the sake of profit, the commodification of the soul.
Now, I'm not trying to say any of this stuff is good or bad. I'm not some kind of arbiter of moral justice. Kiki, hey, stop it. Hey, leave it alone. I'm just pointing out that it exists. And I'm complicit in it too. You know, I mean, to be honest, if I saw a video thumbnail where that looked like this, you know, if I end up using this as the video thumbnail, I still have wet hair and no makeup, no, you know, whatever. This is just what I'm wearing my robe. This is what I look like when I'm putting together, editing and stuff. I'm putting together the video as I'm filming this part. I have a bunch of parts of it together, and I'm gonna throw this part in the middle of it. So what you're watching right now is a compilation of a bunch of stuff, and that's not just YouTube. That's all media. That media is a filter that we're viewing the world through, and again, it's not a bad thing. It's just a thing. It just is. And so I think it's good to talk about it. And I absolutely love media theory. So I'm having a blast today, honestly. This is really fun. Oh man, the mindset of how do I make this look so perfect that everybody will watch it is so similar yet so different from this how do I make things look so real that the only people who are paying attention right now are people who are paying attention. You know, I don't want this to be, big blowing up in the algorithm, because honestly, if it blows up in the algorithm, that probably means that I did something wrong. You know, I don't know. Anyway, all media is like this. And now I'm gonna play you a bunch of different clips that I recorded when I was on an airplane a few days ago, and have been thinking about ever since. Oh, and gotta do the cat tax. Yep. Playing with my hair. Playing with my hair, as usual. Yeah, I'm not the cleanest of people, in any sense of the word.
That is me in the suit. But also, there is some of what you're saying too, though. I sat in an edit room for months with a microphone, and I would revoice moments or jokes or things that just had sort of cultural relevance 6 months later than it did when I was shooting.
Yeah.
So usually what I do is a bunch of takes, make sure that each one, there's something usable for every single part.
Here is the vocal take for Billy's song Happier Than Ever, and I'm gonna pretend I'm in a classroom.
So do you see all of those lines? Those are all
separate
cuts.
audio files that have been put into one take. We got up to like 87 takes. Some takes she was feeling good about and went all the way through. As the waveforms play, that's what you're hearing.
Different take, right? So this is all one take. And then
Different take.
different take,
Different take.
and different take.
Really?
Yeah. Different take. 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 And you would never know.
Lock. You know, I had to like, I'm not like unnatural. I had to like grind and like take vocal lessons and movement classes. I listened to multiple audiobooks about charisma, multiple. I act like this is all past tense. I'm doing it now. See this thing? You know, you're like, that's not a watch. You're right, it's not a watch. It's called a Pavlok. This thing gives me a small electric shock every 3 minutes on stage to remind me to smile more. Been happening the entire show.
So now we get to my content. This is my homepage, sorted by most viewed on the orange YouTube. If you want to talk about why I have to censor all this, even if I set this video to only be viewed by adults, then you should definitely subscribe to my channel here on YouTube. I'm going to be doing a series about Comstock laws and censorship laws in the US and the UK over time and how that still impacts adults to this day. All that aside, it's so interesting looking at this compilation of videos because it's such a mix mash of things that were completely paid. People specifically ordered a video where they wanted me saying exactly what I said in the video, and I barely ad-libbed at all. And then there's a bunch of them several of them that I was given an idea, like the telling you everything video. Somebody ordered a custom video of me talking the entire time, and I, just kind of rolled the camera and let things go from there. So at that point, it's hard to define. Is that acting? I mean, it was done because I was being paid to do it, but at the same point, or at the same time, it was completely off the top of my head, and I was able to go kind of into a flow state and just find the right words at the time. So is that acting? And the same thing with, it's so interesting with, I always get asked about the roommate videos. And the first roommate video, the listening to my roommate with her Tinder date, that one was a custom video. Somebody asked me to have a video playing in the background and act as if I were listening to my roommate. And that video did so well on Orange YouTube that I decided to make more that were similar to it. And so at that point, though, I mean, nobody was I wasn't being asked to make more. I was making more because I wanted to make more, but I also knew that they were going to do well, or I assumed they were going to do well. And a few of them actually didn't do that well comparatively. But it's definitely difficult to find that line of like, at what point is it acting? Even when you get down to clips of me just talking to the camera. You know, there've been so many things that I've learned in the past that, and so many, I've taken public speaking classes. I've taken, I went to college. I've done a lot of stuff that I never really like shared on my adult platform that really impacted that work. At the same time, a lot of it's just my personality and it's just me. And I just start talking and these are the words that come out. And so, yeah, it's just, I love thinking on this idea of what is acting? Where is that line? Especially when we're watching videos. You know, I think back to the old YouTube blog days, YouTube video blogs that would come out, and it was just people living their life and showing us a little slice of their life, but at the same time, that's just a framed section of their life. There's this new YouTuber that I don't know, they explain it better than I could.
But in some respects, what you see in a video is like a moment of clarity in a general haze that I exist in. It's not because of drugs, it's just what time of day I end up in, what my energy's like, and how much on the brink of emotional collapse I am. And I happen to be clear in this moment, so that's what you're getting. You're getting a moment of clarity.
There isn't anywhere I'm trying to go with this, really. I'm not trying to convince you of anything or make some kind of a point. It's just something that I've been thinking about a lot, and I figure, maybe some of you guys have been thinking the same things or similar things or maybe even completely opposite things. I don't know. And this great thing that we have called the internet allows me to connect with you all about that and share my ideas out there. Just kind of share my thoughts and this moment of clarity in my life today, November 14th, 2022. So who knows what I'll think on November 14th, 2025. Please don't assume that everything that I think now and the media that I'm consuming right now is representative of the media that I've consumed my entire life or that I will consume my entire life. We're all multifaceted human beings. Come on now. But this is a little slice of me right now. So, yeah. Here are the folks who would like to have their name shown at the end here. If you also would like to have your name at the end, then please subscribe to my Patreon. I'm not really offering any kind of super great benefits with it right now. It's mainly just if you want your name at the end. I'm thankfully at a point where, I don't know, I want to just like take a break from trying to make money for a while. So I don't really want to commit myself to Patreon like that. That sounds exhausting. But I do think it is kind of cool to have a little slice of history. I've definitely subscribed to people's Patreons in the past that I wanted to see my name at the end of their videos. So, anyway, it is what it is. I hope you enjoy and have a great evening.